Wait, hold on a second. That bowl of oatmeal sitting on the kitchen counter right now might not be the heart-healthy hero everyone thinks it is. Before taking another spoonful, there's something really important that needs to be discussed about what's actually happening inside those arteries. Welcome back to Health Bloom, where the focus is always on cutting through nutrition noise and getting to the real truth about what goes into our bodies. For anyone joining for the first time, this is the place where food myths get busted and science-backed wellness takes center stage. So here's the big question that's been buzzing around health circles lately. Oatmeal has been crowned the breakfast champion for decades. Doctors recommend it, nutritionists praise it. It's been sitting pretty on that pedestal as the ultimate cholesterol-lowering superfood. But recently, some folks started asking,
could this beloved breakfast staple actually be working against us? Is it possible that the very food recommended for heart health might be causing problems in those precious arteries? Before anyone panics and tosses their oats in the trash, let's dive deep into this mystery together. The thing is, when health advice gets passed around for years, sometimes the full picture gets lost in translation. It's like that game of telephone from childhood where the message changes as it travels from person to person. The same thing happens with nutrition science. Something gets oversimplified along the way. And here's what makes this topic so fascinating. Oatmeal isn't just one thing anymore. Walk down any grocery aisle and there's steel-cut oats, rolled oats, instant packets, overnight oats, and about 15 other varieties staring back. Are they all created equal? Spoiler alert, absolutely not, and that's crucial.
This episode is going to unpack everything about oatmeal and arterial health. The good news, the concerning parts, and most importantly, what actually matters when choosing that morning bowl. Real talk, the science might surprise even the most health-conscious listeners out there right now. So here's the deal. If this episode delivers value and clears up confusion, go ahead and hit that like button. Better yet, subscribe to Health Bloom so these evidence-based conversations keep landing in the feed. And dropping a comment, that helps the channel grow and reach more people seeking real answers. Let's start with the million-dollar question. How did oatmeal become the poster child for heart health in the first place? Well, it goes back several decades when researchers started noticing something interesting. People who regularly ate oats tended to have lower cholesterol levels compared to those who didn't. Scientists got excited and started digging deeper. They discovered that oats contain something called beta-glucan, which is a type of soluble fiber. This fiber acts like a sponge in the digestive system, soaking up cholesterol and helping the body eliminate it before it gets absorbed into the bloodstream. The research looked pretty solid. Studies showed that eating about 1.5 cups of cooked oatmeal daily could lower cholesterol by 5 to 8%. The FDA eventually approved health claims, allowing oat products to advertise their cholesterol-lowering benefits. That's when oatmeal's reputation really took off.
But here's where things get interesting, and this is what most people don't realize. Not all oatmeal products contain the same amount of beta-glucan. Some processing methods actually reduce or change the effectiveness of this beneficial fiber. That's the first clue that something isn't quite adding up with blanket recommendations. Think about what happens to oats during processing. Steel-cut oats are basically whole oat kernels that have been chopped once or twice with a steel blade. They're minimally processed and retain most of their original structure. It takes about 25 to 30 minutes to cook them, which seems like forever these days. Then there's rolled oats. These have been steamed and then flattened with large rollers. The process makes them cook faster, maybe about 10 minutes. They're still considered whole grain, but that structure has been altered. The fiber is more broken down compared to steel-cut varieties.
Now, instant oats are where things really change. These have been pre-cooked, dried, cut into tiny pieces, and rolled super thin. Pop them in the microwave for 60 seconds, and breakfast is ready. Convenient? Absolutely. But nutritionally identical to steel-cut oats? Not even close. And here's why that matters. The glycemic index tells the story. This measurement shows how quickly a food raises blood sugar levels. Steel-cut oats have a glycemic index around 53, which is considered low. That means they're digested slowly and don't cause dramatic spikes in blood sugar or insulin. Rolled oats sit slightly higher at about 59, still pretty decent for blood sugar control. But instant oats, they can hit a glycemic index as high as 83. That's similar to white bread. The body digests them rapidly, causing blood sugar to shoot up quickly and then crash back down.
Why does blood sugar matter when talking about arteries and cholesterol? Because consistently high blood sugar and insulin spikes contribute to insulin resistance over time. Insulin resistance is strongly linked to heart disease, high blood pressure, and yes, clogged arteries. The plot thickens, doesn't it? So when someone eats instant oatmeal every morning thinking they're protecting their heart, the opposite might actually be happening. Those rapid blood sugar spikes can trigger inflammation in blood vessels. Inflammation damages artery walls, making them more prone to collecting cholesterol deposits and forming plaques. Here's another piece of the puzzle that rarely gets discussed. Oats naturally contain something called phytic acid. It's a compound that plants use to store phosphorus. Sounds harmless, right? But phytic acid has earned the nickname of being an anti-nutrient because it binds to minerals like iron, zinc, calcium, and magnesium.
When phytic acid binds to these minerals in the digestive tract, the body can't absorb them as effectively. For someone eating oatmeal every single day without proper preparation, this could potentially lead to mineral deficiencies over time. Not enough to cause immediate problems, but enough to matter for long-term health. Traditional cultures knew about this. They would soak, sprout, or ferment their grains before eating them. These processes activate enzymes that break down phytic acid, making the minerals more available for absorption. Modern convenience has largely eliminated these traditional preparation methods from breakfast routines. The irony is that overnight oats became trendy as a health food. Soaking oats overnight sounds like it should reduce phytic acid, right? Well, sort of. Soaking helps activate some enzymes, but oats actually contain very low levels of the specific enzyme needed to break down phytic acid, called phytase.
Simply soaking oats in milk or yogurt overnight doesn't reduce much phytic acid because the mixture isn't acidic enough. Adding a splash of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar to the soaking liquid helps create the acidic environment needed for phytic acid breakdown. Such a simple fix that most recipes never mention. Now, let's talk about what happens when oatmeal gets dressed up with toppings. Plain oatmeal rarely appears on anyone's breakfast table. Usually, it's loaded with brown sugar, honey, maple syrup, dried fruit, chocolate chips, or those flavored instant packets that come with sugar already mixed in the package. Those additions can transform a potentially healthy bowl into a blood sugar bomb. Some instant oatmeal packets contain as much added sugar as a candy bar. The fiber content can't counteract that much simple sugar. The result is exactly what we're trying to avoid: rapid blood sugar spikes and subsequent crashes.
The packaged instant varieties also tend to be fortified with vitamins and minerals. Sounds good on the surface, but it raises questions. Why would a naturally nutritious whole grain need to be fortified? Because the processing removed so much of the original nutrition. The manufacturers have to add it back in synthetic form. Let's get back to the arterial health question. Research consistently shows that whole grains, when eaten in their least processed forms, do help reduce the risk of heart disease. The key phrase there is least processed. A study following women with heart disease found fascinating results that illustrate this point perfectly. Women eating less than 1 serving of whole grains daily saw their arteries progressively narrow over time. Women eating 1 or more servings also experienced narrowing, but significantly less. Whole grains seemed to slow the progression of atherosclerosis, which is the buildup of plaques in artery walls.
However, the study didn't break down which type of oats or whole grains made the biggest difference. The assumption is that minimally processed options, like steel-cut oats, would provide better protection than instant varieties. That makes sense, given everything discussed about glycemic index and processing effects on nutrition. Here's something most people don't realize. The benefits of oatmeal aren't just about the beta-glucan fiber. Oats contain antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds called avenanthramides. These special phytonutrients are found almost exclusively in oats, and they have some remarkable properties for cardiovascular health. Avenanthramides help prevent the oxidation of LDL cholesterol. Why does that matter? Because oxidized LDL cholesterol is much more likely to stick to artery walls and form dangerous plaques. So eating oats rich in avenanthramides could theoretically provide double protection, lowering cholesterol while preventing oxidation.
But again, processing matters enormously. The avenanthamide content in oats is naturally quite low, only about 20 parts per million. Heavy processing may reduce these levels even further. To get meaningful amounts, choosing less processed oat varieties makes sense. The science supports going traditional over convenient. Another consideration that deserves attention is portion size. Even steel-cut oats are still primarily a carbohydrate food. 1 cup of cooked oatmeal contains about 52 grams of carbohydrates. For someone carefully managing carb intake or dealing with diabetes or prediabetes, that's a significant amount in one meal. The body processes all those carbs into glucose eventually. The fiber slows that process down absolutely, but the glucose still enters the bloodstream. For someone with insulin resistance or metabolic issues, even slow-releasing carbs can be problematic if the portions are too large or if meals lack adequate protein and fat.
Speaking of protein and fat, those nutrients are crucial for balancing blood sugar responses. Eating oatmeal alone, even the steel-cut variety, will cause some rise in blood sugar. Adding protein from nuts, seeds, eggs, or yogurt slows gastric emptying and provides a more gradual energy release. Adding healthy fats does the same. So what's the verdict? Is oatmeal clogging arteries or protecting them? The answer is classic nutrition nuance. It depends. Steel-cut or rolled oats prepared properly, eaten in moderate portions and paired with protein and fat, can definitely be part of a heart-healthy diet. That's backed by solid research. Instant oatmeal packets loaded with sugar and eaten regularly without additional protein or fat, that's a different story entirely. The rapid blood sugar spikes, potential mineral binding from unprocessed phytic acid, and inflammatory effects from added sugars could theoretically contribute to cardiovascular problems over time. Here's the practical advice that actually matters. Anyone who enjoys oatmeal doesn't need to eliminate it. Instead, make strategic choices. Buy steel-cut or rolled oats instead of instant packets. If time is tight, overnight oats work great. Just remember to add that splash of acid for phytic acid reduction. Prepare larger batches on weekends and portion them out. Steel-cut oats reheat beautifully. Top that bowl with nuts, seeds, nut butter, or Greek yogurt for protein. Add berries or a small amount of fruit for natural sweetness instead of sugar. Sprinkle cinnamon, which has its own blood sugar benefits. Consider savory oatmeal options too. Cooking oats in vegetable or bone broth, adding sautéed vegetables, and topping with a fried egg creates a nutrient-dense meal. It shifts breakfast away from the sweet paradigm that dominates modern eating habits and provides better blood sugar balance throughout the morning.
For anyone dealing with high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes, or other metabolic concerns, working with a healthcare provider makes sense. Individual responses to oatmeal vary significantly. Some people tolerate it well. Others experience blood sugar spikes even from steel-cut varieties. Testing and personalization matter tremendously here. The broader lesson from this oatmeal discussion applies to nutrition in general. Single foods aren't usually heroes or villains. Context matters enormously. Processing matters. Portion size matters. What else is on the plate matters. Individual health status and goals matter. There are rarely simple answers in nutrition science.
So here's the bottom line. Oatmeal isn't inherently clogging arteries, but certain types, prepared certain ways, could potentially contribute to cardiovascular issues over time. The inflammatory effects of blood sugar spikes, combined with nutrient blocking from phytic acid, make poorly chosen oatmeal less than ideal. The solution isn't complicated. Choose minimally processed varieties like steel-cut or rolled oats. Soak them properly to reduce anti-nutrients. Add protein and healthy fats. Watch portion sizes. Skip the sugar bombs. These simple adjustments transform oatmeal from a questionable choice into a genuinely heart-healthy breakfast option. What matters most is making informed decisions based on individual needs rather than blindly following general health advice. The health journey works best when information is specific, practical, and backed by understanding rather than marketing claims. That's what Health Bloom is all about. Real information for real health. If this episode cleared up confusion or changed perspectives on oatmeal, let's hear about it in the comments. What type of oats are usually in the pantry? Has anyone experienced blood sugar issues after eating certain oatmeal types? Sharing experiences helps build community knowledge and helps others navigate similar questions. Don't forget to smash that like button if this information was valuable. It tells the algorithm to share this content with more people who need evidence-based nutrition information. Subscribing ensures future episodes pop up automatically. New content drops regularly covering all aspects of nutrition and health optimization. Share this episode with anyone who starts their day with oatmeal or struggles with cholesterol issues. The more people understand how processing and preparation affect nutrition, the better choices everyone can make. Health transformation happens one informed decision at a time. Every meal is an opportunity to nourish the body properly.
Until next time, remember that health blooms when nourished with knowledge, whole foods, and mindful choices. Stay curious about what goes into the body. Question conventional wisdom. Test what works individually. And keep showing up for personal health because nobody else can do that work. Thanks for listening to Health Bloom.